Welcome back to the latest episode ng Deep Dive FY series. This is the other R&R. Kung the other R&R is Roland Leon, this one is my former professor and good friend of mine, Professor Ranju Dry. Actually, double R ka rin.
Yeah.
Triple R na
Triple
naman.
R na tayo.
Professor Rai, ang dami natin pag-usapan ngayon. Obviously, later, I want to talk about permutations kasi yun ang medyo kulang sa mga analysis.
Yeah.
It's not like only Sara versus Lenny. It's about team-ups. So we're gonna look at maybe Rafi Risa, Aimee Sara, marami tayong pag-usapan. But before that, let's first talk about itong latest numbers, quarterly numbers. So, if you are in the Duterte camp, you would say, oh, things are going well for our side kasi mukhang hindi mangyaring trial at all. But if you look at the numbers, it looks like maybe the public opinion is not necessarily going their way. Maybe it's actually going in the opposite direction. While if you are worried about accountability, perhaps you have to be encouraged by popular demand for accountability, if that's one way of reading.
Yeah.
So let's go to the surveys, Prof. So first of all, when was this conducted and what are the parameters? Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the survey we conducted last July, 12 to 17. So this is our second quarter survey. But note, this was conducted in July, so just a few weeks ago. And a couple of things happened. No? Now, were discovered. Number one, 8 out of 10 Filipinos want the impeachment trial to happen to clear the name of VP Duterte. So that's,
or give her a chance.
Give her a chance to. So it's not just about accountability; it's about due process for her supporters. Okay, so that's a big thing. That was a week ago. Excuse me. And then this week we released the trust and performance ratings of top government officials, and what seems to be clear is that the president's numbers rebounded in the second quarter.
Is it statistically relevant? How many points are we talking about?
Oh, no, well, yeah. One could argue it's not as, in certain aspects, it may not be so significant. But here, what we're trying to emphasize is that for the last 2 quarters, the numbers of the president have been going down. So the trend has been going down.
Right.
Except for this quarter, the second quarter, where it rebounded. See, VP Sara's numbers have already experienced a rebound. This is PBBM's rebound in the second quarter of 2025.
Or arresting the descent.
Yeah, reversal.
Stabilizing it, yeah.
In some sense, it's a reversal, no?
Reversal even.
Yeah, I would think it's a reversal. So what's the main storyline? In the case of PBBM, there's a 4 percentage point increase in trust, and what many would argue would be nominal, even within the margin of error, a 3 percentage point increase in performance. But still, it indicates a reversal of the trend. And the trend has been there, the downward trend has been there for the last 4 quarters. So this is significant. Yeah. And this is just after the midterm elections. And to a great extent, it may have been fueled by the programs, initiatives, and projects that were implemented just before the SONA. No? And a lot of these things were quite significant for the everyday Filipino.
Can we have a regional breakdown where the
president
and the admin is doing better now?
We'll talk about that later. No? Another big story is, of course, VP Sara Duterte's decline.
So how many points is Sara
So VP Duterte's decline is a little more significant. No, she declined by 4 percentage points in trust and 6 percentage points in performance. So her final numbers now are 54% for trust and 50% for performance. And in performance, she had a 6 percentage point drop. That's quite significant. Anything over 5% is kind of significant. No.
So they're not happy with her digital nomad schedule traveling around the world.
You know, it's hard to pinpoint what may have caused her her decline. No? But what's very clear is nothing essentially has changed in her own political position. She's been on the opposition side since the first quarter. The first quarter was kind of traumatic, no? As far as the country was concerned. There was incarceration of Rodrigo Duterte, and in the case of there was so much dynamic that happened during that period. And she had a rebound in the first quarter. Nearly double-digit increase.
So the impeachment in February and the March, turnover of the president has actually helped her case.
Yes, I think so, to a great extent. But now, in June, we have the remanding of the impeachment articles. We had all this protest. our hypothesis is, I think the big driver for her decline was really the impeachment.
And maybe the sympathy factor for the
yes.
Digong is also fading away.
Yeah.
Na-maximize na yan.
Yes,
na-max
na-maximize
out
na.
yeah.
And the fact that, there's so much criticism about her being away from the government, being politically irrelevant, being not having a part, a
Yun nga, like
cabinet
what's her
position.
job? Digital nomad?
Yeah, I think people are beginning to notice, that, maybe she's not as relevant politically as she used to be. And we're seeing that decline. But I think it has largely to do with, the impeachment dynamics and the noise
You
caused
mean,
by
is
them.
it because people feel she's not reassuring people when it comes to accusations against
It's
her?
possible, but 8 out of 10 Filipinos want the impeachment trial to happen, and it's not going to happen, obviously. Now, no? And
As
a lot of that
instant.
discussion was started in June. A lot of the protest movements happened in June. And she may have gotten hit by that. And she's not the only one who got hit, huh? It's
Chiz
Escudero.
Yeah, let's talk about him.
Yeah. So, Chiz Escudero, the declines are nominal at the national level, but it's important to note that in the case of Senate President Chiz Escudero, his trust ratings went down 4 percentage points to 51%. That's kind of a big thing in the case of Chiz, who always had stable numbers. Senator Chiz also had a 4 percentage point decrease in performance to 49, below 50%. Now, these are small, what people can argue nominal, but when you look at the granular data, he had double-digit declines in the National
NCR,
Capital Region and in Balanced Luzon.
Even in Visayas?
Yeah, there was some decline in Visayas, except for
Mindanao.
a 17-point increase in Mindanao, which I think is unique, in a sense, his trust and performance numbers all increased in Mindanao, but in Balanced Luzon, NCR, and Visayas, they all declined. And in the case of Balanced Luzon and NCR, it's substantial.
So this is an issue-based effective alignment, basically,
yes,
on
I
the
think
impeachment
so.
issue.
I think that to a great extent, the impeachment dynamics had an impact. They got a hit from it. And
so they love Mr. Forthwith in Mindanao? Is that a good thing, apparently?
I don't know. That's a new base, no? Obviously, he has a new base. Was
we
never.
have to congratulate him. He has a new
He's
base.
created a new base in Mindanao,
Right.
and so, while I think it's not as substantial a loss in ratings in terms of trust and performance, but it's still a decline, and it's the first time it's declined in this particular manner.
Because Mindanao cannot make up for the rest of the country,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not big enough,
Yeah, but his number, we got a double-digit increase there, so it's sort of ameliorated to some extent.
Mitigated.
Some of the decreases, significant decreases in Luzon and the National Capital Region. Key points are, when you look at this survey, the two individuals that declined are VP Sara Duterte and Chiz Escudero, Senator Chiz Escudero, Senate President. Now, in the case of Martin Romualdez, he had modest improvements in both trust and approval. And I think it mirrors, the key factors that can explain it would probably mirror that of the president, because they're associated with government programs.
Admin sila basically.
Admin sila basically. And the admin did very well this quarter. Just before the SONA, and you can see it on multiple fronts. When you look at the last April,
so they did bad in midterms, but they did good, right?
I know. That's
interesting.
Yeah, interesting, because after the midterms, you will notice one thing. We published this in April of 2025, the first quarter. Okta released its self-rated poverty and hunger, and food poverty. What were the key findings? Significant decrease in self-rated poverty, below 50% now. Very significant decrease in food poverty. That's in April, huh?
Interesting.
And to some extent, a very nominal, within the margin of error, decrease in self-rated hunger. So the impact of that, I think to some extent, the momentum of improving poverty numbers, improving hunger numbers, and born out of programs like cheap rice, the inflation, and all of these things. I think to a great extent, were drivers for improving
so
the
it makes
trust and
sense for
approval.
SONA to be the way it was, right? Focus on
exactly.
issues, just welfare.
And we're not the only survey company that saw this.
SWS, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. They
same,
saw it. They
similar.
saw it also. They saw the increase in the president's trust and performance rating. They also saw the improvements in self-rated poverty and food poverty. Self-rated hunger is a different thing, no?
Yeah.
It's relatively stable. But in the case of Okta, there was a 3 percentage point decrease, but that's within the margin of error, no? Nonetheless, it points to a downward trend as far as these indicators are concerned. And that's the base for, in my view, the very good or improving numbers overall this July. So that's where the country is
So
at the
the
moment.
direction of the win for the admin is just focus on gut issue, welfare, basically go a bit populist,
Yeah.
help people, give it out, dole outs, help people. And then for Sara, it looks like the trial not happening is not necessarily a good thing for her politically,
yeah.
although legally it still keeps her safe, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this might be costly for her, given the fact that even without the trial, these are the effects already.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court, just to be clear, didn't said that she's absuelto siya.
Yes.
Sinabi lang nila, you have procedural concerns with
You're very
impeachment.
careful now about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Supreme Court. Why are you suddenly so careful?
No, I have said...
Just sorry, before we continue, please, we want to express our camaraderie
Hashtag,
to your impending case, no?
But I was just about to post this new article. Apparently, my article yung mga friends natin, which actually I referenced about the parang judicial loyalty or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a political science standard literature,
yes,
right? So I find it interesting. It looks like...
Our solidarity is with you, my friend.
Of
no?
course.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh, yeah. And while we hope that the Supreme Court will not entertain this frivolous petition against you guys and, will uphold, in a sense, freedom of speech, which we all believe is sacred, no? We're ready to give you sandwiches if ever, where there's a
Thank
whole
you so
brigade
much.
ready to,
Right.
to take care of you should you get the 6 months.
Let me. There's still the 30,000 that I have to raise.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to help
okay,
me with
we're
that.
gonna help with
Yeah,
that also. Yeah. But one thing I know is that you have a top-notch legal team already volunteering.
We have a battalion of...
of the willing, no?
We'll take this to the UN Security Council.
It's possible, no? But I'm confident the Supreme Court will look at this in a just and
Our hope is in our highest court to just dispense with this frivolous petition.
Yes,
It's just
yes.
harassment and intimidation.
And may I say, not because I completely agree with it, and I think it's important for us to say that we have to respect the Supreme Court's decision, no?
Or respectfully disagree na
yeah,
lang.
and although there are elements that I disagree with as far as the Supreme Court decision is concerned on the impeachment, but by and large, I think there's this consensus that, when the Supreme Court speaks out, that while we disagree, there's always that respect for the institution and the value of
Now
that
you're
decision.
being very safe. Are you worried for your own sake?
I'm not.
Because we had Justice Carpi here. I had Justice Ascuna.
Yeah.
We have former Justice. They don't agree with this decision. The UP law just came out with a statement also
Exactly.
disagreeing with it.
I have major disagreements, especially
On the substance.
the substance
Yeah.
of it. Especially given the fact that there's now new news coming out that,
Do you have survey on the Supreme Court?
No, with not.
I think maybe that's important. Maybe you should have a survey
But nobody
on whether people have
expected the Supreme
confidence.
Court to play a big role.
No, because I think now this is an important question.
Yeah.
Because we want people to have trust and faith and confidence in Supreme Court.
Well, let's ask.
And those who disagree with the decision are saying it's important that they revisit it because this is about restoring faith or preserving faith in our
I
institutions.
agree. I agree. But the thing is, the most important fact that came out of finding that came out of our survey is that 8 out of 10 Filipinos think the impeachment trial
Should happen.
It's not just a trial of
Yeah.
for accountability. It's also a due process issue for the VP. 8 out of 10
Para
Filipinos
ma-clear
want
pangalan
her
niya,
to clear her name. It was 78% in April. Now it's 80%
tumaas pa.
Tumaas pa. We even tweaked the question because one of our
Interesting.
columnist friends, critics, want to
Took issue with your question.
issue with the question.
Leading down.
Leading. So we adjusted, and it came out even there's more consensus now than ever before that the trial should continue. And I think that's the important feedback to the Supreme Court, no? Now that they're going to consider a motion for reconsideration.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. I'm not hopeful that will push forward. But just in case, put that all together. At any rate, it doesn't end here. There's next year, and that's what we're talking about. What's the political cost?
Hindi mawawala tong issue na to eh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and both sides will try to push it in their own direction. In terms
and
of
given the
narrative.
numbers, the dynamics that's happening, maybe there's a greater political cost in holding it next year than this year.
Why would people say that? Because isn't it next year a bit too late?
You know what? Next year is not too late. And next year will have more political damage because you have
It's
need
closer.
time.
It's
closer
closer
to
to
the
the
election.
elections.
There's more. It will create more damage. She had the numbers now. No, she had the numbers now. She could have won it fair and square, ended all the discussion about this, and it would have been politically hard for the House to refile after losing a fair and square trial in the Senate, which, by the way, based on the numbers, based on the confidence of her defense panel, she could have won. Now it's delayed. We're going to do it pa next year.
Unless she didn't want trial at all because the trial would lead to. But anyway,
that's another speculation.
Baka ma-petition na naman tayo.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your expression of solidarity, Rob Ranjit. I hope you're more proud of me as your former... I'm now a martyr for freedom of expression, which is quite an improvement from what we had.
And that is why we have to articulate that. That in the end, while we will smile about this, okay, it's nothing to smile about when somebody petitions you. And I'm sure you had maybe one night that you were sleepless or something.
I always have a sleepless night. I worry about our country, our beloved country.
Okay. You should get magnesium glycinate for that.
I need my yoga. But I don't know if you saw my taekwondo kicks.
I know. You can use that in jail, by the way, to defend yourself. Okay.
Magalit ang mami ko sa why are you talking about that?
Sorry, mommy, just joking.
30,000 babayaran ni Sir Ranjit yan.
We will donate.
30,000. Crowdfunding.
It's 30,000, no?
Not exceed 30,000.
Not to exceed 30,000. And then just for everybody's
not to exceed 30,000. Pero kung pasaway ka pa rin, kunwari nagbabastos ka pa rin ng court.
Parang si Secretary Gadon.
Kunwari na-fine. Diba? Kunwari na-fine ka na, diba? Kunwari na-fine ka na, diba? Tapos, tuloy-tuloy pa rin then it goes to or end imprisonment or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's like the less craziest. So
but is there community service for that?
I think that's more the direct one. But,
okay, the indirect one.
But we're just hoping that this is such a frivolous thing they'll not even mind about.
Yes,
but thank you for offering the 30,000.
Wait. I'm there. I mean, I'm in solidarity with you. And then I hear that there's quite a number of UP lawyers who are volunteering to help out.
And there's expression of solidarity. By the way, thank you to different folks in the civil society and all expressing solidarity with us and Kapersi. I don't know about Larry Gaton, but at least with me and Kapersi.
Gaton can take care of himself.
He can take care of himself. I think.
But the thing is, while we laugh at it and smile at it, this is a serious issue. I think freedom of expression.
What you were trying to say here is that we're not going to be intimidated by these frivolous petitions. Clearly, they're trying to weaponize us to silence us.
So
we're just laughing at their pathetic attempt to try to silence us, and at the same time, we have still faith in our institutions, including our Supreme Court. Now, can we just go to 2028? Because I think that's what everyone...
Why are you so excited about it? It's too far. It's like 2 or 3 years.
It is not too far. You just said if the impeachment happens next year,
you're going to put me on the spot again.
It's too close to that. Let's talk about it. Again, to the degree that we can talk about this, I know you have privately commissioned surveys, so you cannot talk about everything. But let's talk about permutations.
We're getting this, I know what you call this, reputation octave, because we have not, submitted to the public any sort of survey on 2028. Puro lahat, chismis ko, no? So parang chismosong survey agency.
Echosera. Let's just call it informed Echosera, highbrow gossip.
To the point that I can...
Please.
Okay.
So what are permutations, team-ups?
Okay. Sara Duterte is still on top of the surveys.
She
knows that. She has her own survey company telling her that. In fact, most of her bravado comes from the survey. Okay. By the way, just for everybody's information, and particularly the other R, Ronald Yaman.
Exactly. Our good friend.
We haven't released it. 61% of Filipinos still believe in surveys. Okay? So, that's the first, only on your show, since you're going to...
So, Ronald has 39% of the population with him.
So, number 2, what's the first thing we know? Sara Duterte is still on top of the surveys. The second person, or the person that is closest to her, less than double digit, is really Rafi Tulfo.
Right.
You know who the third person is? And there's a divide, no? Still a wide divide, but she's come up in our unaided questions. It's really Lenny Robredo. So those three people are on top of the list. Everyone else is very nominal. Okay, as far as who's best to replace BBM, but much closer, Rafi Tulfo and Sara Duterte. Now, if you look at tandems, that's complex, no? Because you have very competitive tandems that we've
Let's talk about the
tested.
tandems, yeah.
The winning tandem for the Dutertes really, you won't believe this, no? It's Sara Duterte, Amy Marcos. We've tested it with so many other...
So Amy is strong for VP.
Yeah, I don't know. She's strong
Is it
for
because
VP.
solid south, solid north
I don't
kind
know,
of thing?
but they always come out on top.
Strong women together?
It used to be that they were always beaten by a Rafi Tulfo, let's say, Speaker Romualdez tandem.
Yeah.
But now things have changed. And while the Rafi Tulfo, Speaker Romualdez tandem is still relevant, you have, to some extent, now a new player, and that's Rizzo Ontiveros. So Rafi Tulfo, Rizzo Ontiveros against Sara Amy is actually quite competitive.
Wow, that's
But they're still on top, huh? Sara and Amy are still on top. So
Sara Amy, but
are always on top at the moment.
again, everything can change. Obviously, we're saying
Obviously, all of this will change.
But the thing kasi is, in game theory, shadow of the future, right?
Yeah.
Expectation of future shape current calculus. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say more, baka ma-petition na naman tayo.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to this, but Riza and Rafi Tulfo as a good mix is something we were talking with Ronald last year pa, na it's a good mix. Yung isa matapang, actually matapang pareho, but now your numbers actually back up that heuristic,
It's
instinctive.
possible. It's a very good tandem, actually. It's a competitive tandem.
Interesting. Why do you think so?
But there's also a Rafi Speaker Romualdez tandem, no?
This will be the admin bet.
That's a very competitive also. But I think more competitive than this tandem is really Rafi.
And it will be
Riza.
a unit team in a certain sense too, right?
Yeah, but it's the survey is structured, and in reality, there's so many tandems that
of course.
and that is where I think the Dutertes and the Marcoses have an advantage because they have bailiwicks that are efficient, consolidated, and have been tested time and again.
Right.
So any tandem that goes against them would have to negotiate with others. If the opposition is united, when you say opposition here, those who are opposed to the Dutertes, not on an ideational issue, no, just pro-Duterte and anti-Duterte. If the anti-Duterte forces
Never
unify,
Duterte, I call them. Yeah, never.
Unify, I think there's quite a number of candidates that can help unify
What about
and provide a competitive tandem.
What about the Bam Lenny one? Bam Aquino.
We're not seeing their numbers up. Bam Lenny, we haven't tested that.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, but when you go one-on-one, let's say Sara Duterte, Lenny Robredo, it's also very competitive. Sara will still be on top, but the gap is not as huge as the others. Let's say the gap between, Rizzo Ontiveros versus Sara Duterte, the gap is it's a chasm, no? But with Sara Duterte, Lenny Robredo,
quite competitive.
Quite competitive. Now, here's what I want to point out.
Yes.
You have Lenny Robredo, who's not even on TV, who doesn't talk much. Is the ideal
Everyone goes
civil
to her,
servant. But she's still relevant. When people
More
think
than
of the
relevant.
opposition, they think of her.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. So again, let me reiterate: it's Sara Duterte for president, Rafi Tulfo, and Lenny Robredo, top three.
Let's talk about dark horses. Bongo. Bongo looks like a very
that's
interesting
a very good
case,
question.
right?
That's a very good question. We have a question where I don't know if I can say this, but he is actually. If the question we have is that if Sara Duterte is not able to run for whatever reason, impeached or whatever, the number one alternate is really Senator Bongo, and he's competitive across the country.
Yeah, as he showed in Senate
No,
race.
I'm serious. But he'll. But the gap between Tulfo and Gongo is different. So Rafi Tulfo will always win against Bongo in a one-on-one contest. But he is very competitive. Now we still need to study who is the best tandem for him. Could be Bongo Isko Moreno, it could be Bongo
could be an-
or
yeah,
Robin
completely
Padilla.
different.
So
Yeah.
we're still studying all those possibilities.
And then,
Again, just to caveat for our own audience, all of these numbers will change.
right.
Yeah, these numbers will all change and continue to change, especially as our electorate becomes more and more informed of issues and are able to develop a stand and are able to think about their country beyond their personal concerns. I think these numbers will change. But what is clear is that it's, Sara Duterte is on top of the surveys.
And Lenny looks like as the most
And
competitive.
Lenny and
Rafi.
Rafi Tulfo, are the most competitive candidates.
So, and then the next and final question would be, in what scenario is it better for Sara or for a DDS side? In a multi 3-4 way race
obviously a
or two-way race?
If it goes two ways, they'll lose.
Because there's one survey I don't want to mention. It said that actually head to head, if Lenny has support, let's say, of the admin and lawyers,
Yes.
she actually can beat Sara.
She's beat.
Which
Okay, that's an
instinctively makes
important
sense.
point.
Which instinctively makes sense.
Yeah, the numbers are saying that she's beatable. That's it. The gaps are not more
She's
than...
not sure. Yeah, she's not sure win.
It's not a sure win. But there are some tandems that have created a
Stronger.
wider gap against others.
Right.
What seems to be clear is that she has Mindanao, she has Central Visayas, very solid base, and a smattering of support in NCR. And that's
Right.
it. In Balanced Zone in NCR, it's a different, the North and the South, no? What she needs is a partner who will provide her a base of support in the North. And it seems from our permutations, from our studies, the best person to provide that will be, Amy Marcos.
Right. Again, these are very speculative,
and this will all change. And we haven't provided any data, so I won't be breaking my own.
No, exactly. So, the reason we're having this discussion is not because masyado tayong atat. It's because the race has already started. I mean, you had no less than Sara they're saying her dad already endorsed her. In fact, the moment Uniteam ran, the expectation was Sara will be next in line after BBM, right? So when people accuse us, masyado kayong atat, well, A is because we saw what happened last time when there was too late mobilization by one side.
Yeah.
And second, the race already started day one pa lang.
Yeah.
So I think it perfectly makes sense for us to have this kind of conversation. But I cannot close this discussion without mentioning the man of the hour in the zona, General Torre. Is he gonna be in the mix in some way?
Well, not,
VP
it doesn't
maybe?
seem apparent now.
Or baka you're not giving him enough. Baka after that boxing non-match. After that non-match. Now that he's a champion, maybe he'll be in the mix. You never know.
People are laughing at that and smiling about
But
it.
you never know.
But actually, it has an impact.
People were laughing at Digong in 2015.
Yeah, exactly. So the caricature that came out of it may actually have elevated him as a possible alternative. Very clearly, he could be a senator.
Senate is, I think, easy can be seasoned. But even a VP, maybe, right?
It's possible. But we haven't measured it. What we have measured is his trust and a performance rating, but which I can't discuss at the moment.
Right, you don't
Except
have
to say that the police, the PNP, and the AFP did very well.
Ayun
One of the highest
ever.
The trust, not ever, but trust and approval ratings for government
institutions. So they're one of the
we'll report that next week.
Okay, so thank you so much. I mean, siguro next time when I tweet, I have to allow you to write all the caveats below. But I don't have any trouble. Because the DDS will only screenshot the first part, not my caveat.
Yeah, I know.
With you, there's the caveat already. Like we had 7 caveats in this show. No, but Professor Ranjo, I really appreciate not only your statement of solidarity and the 30,000 offer, but I also appreciate now we're already taking it to the next level of analysis.
Yeah.
Hindi na ito we're looking at permutations, because I think this is the best we can do for people to elevate level of discussion.
Yeah.
Let's look at permutations, combinations.
The goal for us, as we have been always discussing, that our common goal is citizens' education for democracy. The idea here is that we educate our citizens, we inform them, because we believe that better informed citizens will make better choices. And our goal is not to take one side naman, di ba? As we've talked together. No? Our goal
unless
is
it's
really
the side of constitutional democracy.
yes,
we believe in
of course we
constitutional
won't go
democracy.
for autocrats. Neither
Or
will we go for
anti-constitutional
people who are anarchists. No.
Yeah.
So the goal for us as public.
Unless it's Ronald Llamas, anarchist.
Yeah, that heckler. But the thing is, you guys, it's our
Yeah.
citizens, citizens engagement and
Yeah,
education
exactly.
will be key in 2028 elections. We saw the impact of empowered citizens. People who are not even in the winning circle of the last surveys
Yeah, now
were
suddenly
able to win, di ba?
Yeah.
So there's a space for progressives. There are alternatives to Sara Duterte, and that's what we're basically
And there's
saying
no
na-
sure win here.
And there's no sure win.
It's quite simple, and
It's dynamic. You
it's
know?
quite fluid. Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
quite fluid. Yeah, and there's a space for progressives to really organize, and they should start doing it now.
Right. On that very, I would say, I don't know if exciting note, I would say. Kasi parang marami pang pwede
Yung
mangyari.
exciting yung court case mo. Yun ang
Ayan
exciting.
na naman tayo. But I really, I will take exception na you're against anarchists. Because
Yeah.
Ronald Llamas would not be happy.
Would he qualify as one?
You want to put two caveats to that also.
Our friend.
On that note, I hope you appreciate the other R&R episode, the more politically correct version of R&R for our FYI series. Maraming salamat and talk to you soon.